Hi, everyone. Oh my gosh, I am so excited about today because not only I see you guys all jumping on, which is amazing, but because we are starting the second quarter of the year. So I don't know about you, but if you made, I'm not sure about you, I can talk tonight, but if you made some amazing goals for the start of 2019, and now it's the beginning of April, it's the beginning of the second quarter, summer is around the corner, which is so exciting, but you still are questioning if you're really making any progress to your goals, aka boosting your metabolism and fat loss, then this is the webinar for you. And I've had so many messages come in this last week saying, oh my gosh, I just need a reboot. I need a refresh, Moni. I can't wait for this web class. Hi, guys. Sorry for the delay and the tech issues. It always gets the best of me sometimes. Definitely not my zone of genius. But guys, I want to jump right in. Like I said, I'm so excited that you are here. Let me know where you're from. This is an interactive training. I hope you have your wine, your tea, your water, your notebook, a comfy chair, and you are ready to dive in with me. Because like I said, again, this is so important for us in our 40s to grasp these principles, these three big principles that I'm going to be going through in this web class with you to make lasting change. And like I said, it's the beginning of April, it's the beginning of the second quarter. So honestly, if you're not where you want to be, what you had envisioned for yourself in 2019, I applaud you because you are here. Yes, I see the yeses coming in. That's it. I applaud you because you're here and you're doing something for you. So with that said, I want to officially welcome you to the 3 secrets to losing your over 40 belly bulge. And I'm going to say the other fluff too, because these principles definitely pertain to that extra fluff in key areas as well. So we can feel strong and hot without dieting and spending hours at the gym. And I had someone say to me too, and I don't want to spend hours in the kitchen because we're so busy, right? So we just want something that is going to be simple and that works for us. Yes, I see the yeses coming in. Amazing. Okay, so you're here because you obviously want these secrets to fix that extra fluff, and it's so important that you block out distractions. And I know that's so hard to do because we are the queens of multitasking, but I'm going to challenge you right here, right now, to give this time back to yourself. It's so rare these days we can give anything our undivided attention. And again, I applaud you because you're here and you're here for you. And you're here because you obviously have a goal for yourself this year, or maybe just for your lifetime, this stage of the game. And you know, I really want you to grasp, like I said, what we're going to talk about because these 3 principles are key. So, and with that, I am going to bribe you. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to bribe you because at the end of this webinar, I'm going to give you probably one of my most popular resources. And really, I consider a make or break for a lot of us in our fat loss journey. Meaning we could be doing amazing, but if we're going to have the convenience of not cooking and eating out and events and celebrations. And a lot of times, even if we're menu savvy, this can totally sabotage our weight loss efforts. Totally sabotage. So at the end of this, I am going to give you a link to my eating out guide. So let me know in the comments if you're staying. I see the yeses coming in. Yes, perfect. Amazing. Good. Awesome, guys. I'm so excited that you're pumped because I am pumped too. And here's my promise to you today. I'm going to show you the simplest way to fire up your slow metabolism and lose that belly bulge, the poof, the muffin top, the tire, whatever you would like to call it. Today, right here, we are going to say bye-bye. Does that sound good? Give me a yes. Yes. And specifically, this is it. You're going to discover what you've been doing for years to flatten that belly or lose the extra fluff. And maybe that worked in your 20s and 30s. I'm going to explain to you why it doesn't work now and then talk to you about what does work. Hi, guys. Hi, I see you in the chat. Hi. Hey, Amy Sue. I know I wish I could say hi to you guys all. Listen, if I miss one of your questions, I'll get back to you at the end. Again, I'm sorry for the delay, the tech issues. But listen, this is my promise, like I said, to show you the no-nonsense way and with no willpower or deprivation. And I think because so many of us have relied on those things, willpower and depriving ourselves of certain foods to get results, that it's going to be a bit of a shift for us to think of a new way, but this new way works and it pertains to us in our 40s. Okay, so this is how it's going to go down. First, I am going to share some stories, mine included, the good, the bad, the ups and the downs, because I really believe there's power in stories, plus a few laughs, usually at my expense. Because if I can only help one of you really not to go through all the trial and error, the guessing and the frustration, then really that's what it's all about. And you can ground yourself in knowing that you're not alone, or how you're feeling is not abnormal. It actually is really normal. Then we're going to dive into each secret and why they're so big on getting rid of that over 40 fluff. Then we'll close with some actionable recommendations that you can start tomorrow, yes, tomorrow, to turn things around. And listen, this is ultimately about feeling good, being healthy and happy, and eating the foods you actually like. If you're into quick fixes and want immediate results, then I'm sorry, this web class is not for you. We're talking about longevity. We're talking about lasting fat loss. And we're also talking about not taking the fun out of life because you're focused on some diet. I think we've all been there, right? And with that said, I want to make sure you're in the right place. And you are, if you can relate to any of these points. Maybe you've tried all the things and you just want to figure out what you're doing wrong. And so you're doing Dr. Google, the good old Google search. I was a Googler. And maybe you search in, losing weight in your 40s. I think I did search one time, losing fat loss in your 40s, and over 400 million articles came up. That's 400 million different things to cipher through, different beliefs, different strategies, right? And it's so paralyzing because you just don't know where to start. Or maybe you're fed up of eating chicken and salad all day, right? And mentally willing yourself to be strong and not have that piece of cake or that glass of wine. Or maybe you are committed to the gym and eating healthy, and that gave you some initial results, and then all of a sudden nothing, the good old plateau, right? That's so frustrating. And I love this last point because I'm all about being real and honest, and this whole journey can really be making you angry. It could be pissing you off, because the information, like I said, out there is overwhelming, and there's not a lot targeted to a busy, active woman in their 40s that just doesn't want to settle with this is how it's supposed to be. I seriously thought if I saw another 20-something with ripped abs showing me how to eat or how to work out, I was going to be physically ill. And nothing against them, super amazing for them to be committed and be in that physical state, but it just did not relate to me and did not relate to my lifestyle. And many of us are lifestyles in our 40s. But before we go any further, I want you guys to know these two things to be true. So please write these down. Number one, you are not alone. During every workshop, seminar, podcast, interview, or group lecture, I just did one last week, I have ever given, there's at least one woman that raises her hand to ask the question, Moni, great information, but how do I get rid of this? As she points to her midsection. And the second thing, number two, please write this down. It is not your fault. If you're nodding your head yes to some of the points that I mentioned earlier, I promise you, I'm not a Facebook stalker. I just know because I have done those things and have felt that way. And I promise you, whatever that you're doing and it's not working is not your fault. And I'm going to say that again, it's not your fault. It is so hard to know who is right, who to trust. Like I said, everything's so overwhelming. And if you felt any way like I did back then, you would have done just about anything just to see the results, the lasting results. And listen, this is the kicker. I've been in the health and wellness and nutrition industry for over 25 years. But when I hit 40, it was a different ballgame. I'm going to share my story in just a second. And I was at a loss. Because the real problem is that the old way of firing up a slow metabolism and ridding the extra fluff doesn't work. The counting calories, depriving ourselves, maybe you're doing 6 mini meals, they do not work. And when you continue to eat that salad upon salad, or maybe you're grazing all day and pounding it out at the gym over and over again, it will actually make your body hold onto fat even more and make that belly bulge worse. Yes, worse. And in between, you're willing yourself to stick with it all, right? And this approach often leads to rebounding, maybe something happens in our life and we fall off the wagon, so to speak. We gain the weight all back, and then we lose motivation to start again. A couple months go by, then we start again, and the cycle continues. I've seen this in so many of my clients that are that typical yo-yo dieter. Let me know if you're a yo-yo dieter and what you may have tried in the past, because I know we've seen it all, right? Fat-free zone, paleo's even out there. We've seen it all. So this is a big one to write down, guys. Big one to write down, okay? Because in our 40s, we can't just push through, because ultimately your hormones and your blood sugar will make you hit a wall. It is a different way of thinking and the complete opposite of what we may have learned before, but it makes sense because it's based on human physiology in our 40s. 40s is a different ballgame. I know we feel it, and it may be frustrating for us, but there's a reason why. That's why I always tell you it's not your fault, right? And I get it. Maybe you're following what the diet book says, the internet, or what a friend told you to do, and it's not working. And this is the reason why. Because the real problem or issue lies that we have been shown or taught, or even maybe self-taught, to focus our energy on a diet protocol rather than a healing protocol that's going to get to the root cause of why you're holding onto fat, especially in those key areas. Diets have you change everything tomorrow, and our brains, honestly, they can't handle it. It's scientifically proven, and it will not last. But in a healing protocol, it takes a bit longer, right? And so right away people think, oh, this must not be working, but probably maybe you just went too fast, or you're just not giving your mind and body time to catch up. Your body wants to be healthy. It wants to be in a state of equilibrium and balance. Trust me. And to unlearn these former habits, it takes repetition and time, which a lot of us don't have the patience for because we've been ingrained to have these instant results, right? It's all over the marketing out there. Lose 5 pounds in 5 days, 10 pounds in 10 days, 30 pounds in 30 days, whatever it may be. It's ingrained at us. It also takes really having to change that sort of those habits or formal habits. It takes having a plan in place that you can follow, and it takes support, which we are also going to talk about later in this webinar. Because guys, this is often us, right? You start your calendar, Sunday night, you might be repeating the O2 familiar mantra, like, I'm going to have a good week. I'm going to stick to my diet this week. No matter what, I can do this. Monday would be good. Maybe Tuesday too. You eat the food you're supposed to eat. You didn't stray. Yay, win. Then around Wednesday or Thursday, something would happen. You'd be tired. The kids would annoy you, or you'd have to work late, or maybe you just go to a friend's dinner and have some fun. And that mantra got thrown out of the window. And then you're like, oh my gosh, I cheated. And because of that, diet is all or nothing. And you cheated and you broke it. You shame yourself. Who has ever experienced food shame, right? That food shame, we always put ourselves through it sometimes. I remember having conversations with myself where I was like, Moni, you're brutal. How hard is it to stick with this diet for 1 week? 1 week, what is wrong with you? And back then I thought, maybe I just needed stronger willpower. I needed to stop sabotaging myself. Maybe I just went socialize for 6 months. How fun would that be? Not. So before I work with any client and before I do any kind of speaking engagement or any kind of masterclass, I always ask this question: what do you envision? And maybe some of you listening haven't spent the time really picturing or visioning what you want. Maybe you don't even know it's possible for you, for your future and for your health, because you've failed and you don't have this trust of that something could actually work for you, right? Or maybe your vision's one of the examples like here, just waking up every day excited and energized, not having to battle with good old Spanx to get into your jeans every day, just to wear your favorite clothes that you felt like a rock star and you felt amazing in. Okay, we can feel hot. And I know some people are like, ooh, hot in your 40s. Yes, we're only in our 40s. We can definitely be strong and sexy and hot, and we deserve that. So I challenge you to take a moment, either now, sorry, you see all my stuff come up here, either now or after this web class, to really write it down. There's power in actually writing it down. what do you envision for yourself? A lot of my clients say it's a vacation as a goal, right? They have a vacation coming up and they don't want to be tied to their sarong, and they don't want to freak out when someone's taking a picture of them, especially in their bathing suit, right? Like, how good will that feel, right? And stop feeling controlled about what you eat, being healthy, role model for your family. Stop thinking like your body has an ulterior motive. Like, there's so many things. So really dig deep, and don't make it another action to-do list item for you, but just definitely think about what you envision for yourself. All right, so before we go any further, I should formally introduce myself. If we haven't met in person or online, I'm Moni. I'm a certified personal trainer and functional and performance nutrition coach. I am the founder and creator of the 3M system to rev your over 40 metabolism. I work specifically with women in their 40s and early 50s even to teach them a new way to eat, train, so they can reignite their slow metabolism. And people are like, what does that mean? That means energy. That means your body naturally releasing fat. That means creating balance in your life, right? Our metabolism actually does not decrease a lot as we age, but it's the lifestyle that we're living and the different stressors and physiology that we go through in our 40s that directly affects our metabolism. And that's me with my family there. How hard is it to get a picture of everybody looking at the camera at once? I think it's pretty much impossible when you have kids that are 4 and 7. And Vista Magazine, I was gracious enough to be asked to be their guest editor for their January, February issue. You can find it online. I still believe it might still be on some stands. And it's all about midlife rejuvenation. If you haven't picked up a copy, amazing, amazing articles in there. Amazing inspiration. And listen, I get it, because really just a few years ago, I didn't like who I saw in the mirror. How could I be doing all the things that worked for me before, pre and post pregnancy? But now when I was doing those things, I actually felt bigger, slower, and weaker. And this is it. This was me 4 years ago, in my 40s, struggling with a slow metabolism, expanding waistline. I honestly felt like I was SpongeBob SquarePants, if you guys know who SpongeBob SquarePants is. I felt like I had a layer of 4 inches all around me. And this was me when I would toggle between, eating super clean. If you don't know what that means like really healthy, not doing anything processed or the convenience food. But then when the weekend would hit, I would binge. And even though I use the word binge to describe what I'm doing, and I know that could be a scary word, but looking back, it kind of was what I was doing, because I'd be good all week and then the weekend would hit and I'd be like, bam, cheat day plus, right? And in my head, I would rationalize it all, because before I could burn off those calories. I could, work out harder or eat less the next day and sort of get back to normal. But then that didn't work anymore in my 40s. And that whole start tomorrow or eat super clean tomorrow or saving room so I could indulge in my favorite things, actually in our 40s makes things worse, which I am going to explain here in a little bit. It makes things worse. And then I think we all have that aha moment, right? The moment, the Oprah aha, when you're just like, no, this is not happening. Hopefully you have that during this web class, because that would be amazing. Mine was, I had this event, a networking event, and I had my favorite pencil skirt that I loved, that I felt so professional in. And I was with 200 people at this event, and someone came up to me and told me that my skirt was ripped all the way up the back and my Spanx were hanging out. And she gave me her scarf to wrap around my waist, and I exited stage left. And I was mortified, right? And I was explaining this to a friend of mine, saying, oh my gosh, these struggles and my beautiful skirt. I love that skirt because I felt amazing in it. And she said, Moni, you're over 40 now and you had kids later in life. This is just how it's supposed to be. And in my head, I was like, what? Deep down in my heart, I knew I wanted to have that confidence back in my own skin again. I wasn't asking to be Cindy Crawford or a bikini model. I was totally grateful for the wonder my body did having kids, but I just wanted to get rid of the jiggle. I wanted to fit into my favorite jeans without going into battle, and I wanted to connect with my body again, because it honestly felt like we'd broken up. And I think a lot of people feel that too. They feel like they lost a sense of control, but you don't want to settle, and you cannot handle another diet, getting back on that cycle. And that's when I decided, listen, I am going to figure this out. I am going to start my journey right here And that's what's led me to being here with you today, sharing my mythology that I use with hundreds of my clients, so you can skip over the years of trial and error that I went to, talking to mentors, colleagues, research, getting more education, trying, doing all the things. And it just comes down to these 3 principles I'm going to be sharing with you right here, right now. And I'm glad I made that investment in myself, because I honestly think I'd still be trying to do, the shakes 2 times a day, or the no carbs, or the no fat, and hours on the treadmill, and just not getting anywhere. And I love this little guy's expression, because really, honestly, I think it says it all, because most of us are so used to, if those results aren't immediate, then we question the method. And that's natural, like I said, because we've been burned so much before, right? Like, why didn't this work long term? Why did I just waste more money? Now I have a pantry full of this product that I don't even like. And what am I supposed to do with it? It all leads to frustration and just looking for guidance. That's why I try to provide people so much guidance and clarity of where they should be putting their energy and their time. Because what I discovered through all the trial and error that I went through, it is not about having weak willpower, or just like not being strong enough to say no to the late night munchies or the 3 p.m. snack cravings, or that it was normal to track all your food or to put into little Tupperware containers, or think about every single thing that we're putting in our mouth, or an hour of cardio a day and a million sit-ups. I discovered all those things are not normal or helpful. And that is exactly unstable blood sugar and fat controlling hormones. And once you started to address these 2 things, blood sugar and hormones, everything changes. And that's what I'm going to share, how I did that with you, and the 3 secrets that I have here. Remember that everything relates back to blood sugar and hormones, because there is a simpler way to fire up your slow metabolism and get rid of that extra fat and fluff without the dieting, without spending hours at the gym, and totally depriving yourself of your favorite things, aka mine is wine. Wine and pizza, I'd have to say. So before we dive into the 3 secrets, I want to share a short story with you. I think it's important to see examples of what real success looks like, so you can really ground yourself, like I said, in knowing that it is possible for you. Because like I said, a lot of us are just like lost and have been burned and just so unsure. Client and friend Jennifer, busy mom, 2 active boys. She worked a 9 to 5 day, picked up the boys, went to activity after activity after activity. And she was hilarious, because I'll never forget, she said to me, Moni, I really want this for myself. I am going to struggle to find the time. I'm scared because I do not have the bandwidth to take on so much more. And if you're going to make me eat zoodles, which is spiralized zucchini that replaces pasta in a lot of healthy recipes, she's like, I am throwing in the towel. Can't do the zoodles. And I laughed and I laughed. And this is the biggest thing. You have to make sure, and this is the difference between a diet and a healing protocol, we have to make sure that we find something that's going to fit our life, because everybody's day-to-day is different, and it's not going to be the same as your neighbor or the person across the street. It has to fit into your lifestyle. So for Jen, it was a busy mom trying to fit it in, but still having the goals. And her ultimate goal was fitting into this awesome dress that she loved to go to a wedding. And we met those goals, as you can see from her text to me. That was just after the first phase, which is 4 weeks or so. Okay, let's dive into clean eating secret number 1. Which also always gets people perked up. So if I lost you, come back to me, because this is a big, big one. Why eating clean and healthy is contributing to growing midsection, why you're more bloated, and why it is harder to lose. Because most of us have been through it all. Like I said, zone diet, fat-free, low-cal, Weight Watchers, mini meals every 2-3 hours, and the list goes on. And whether you're paleo, keto, raw, we've come to an age of wanting to eat super healthy and clean, count some calories, and maybe even label how we eat. For some reason, we find comfort in that. And, we'd find some diet and stick to it, but then have to explain to our friends and family yet again why we can't have Aunt Mary's famous ribs and potato salad at the family barbecue. Does that fit into your lifestyle? You have to question that, okay? So let's dive in a little bit. When we eat super clean, which means really, really healthy. Like I said, unprocessed, lots of salads, and nothing in salads. Obviously, salads are amazing, but these three things typically happen. We get insufficient calories, missing macronutrients, and backloading calories. And all three of those contribute to unstable blood sugar. And that is what I'm going to dive in just a little bit and explain why. And just to be clear, again, because I have someone questioning here, they're like, what is super clean? What is healthy? What do you mean? It's, typically it is salads, it's bootables, it's smoothies, it's juicing, but what it isn't is a balance of the macronutrients, which we're going to dive into, okay? Because those things are amazing because they're real whole foods and we want to have those in our diets. But a lot of times we fall into these three categories when we try to incorporate that clean, healthy style of eating, okay? So insufficient calories. Basically, calories are used in three areas. It's used for work, so like activities and movement. It's used for heat, so any of the biochemical processes in our body. And it's used for storage. What we don't use for work and heat, our body keeps in storage as a reserve, right? So when your body thinks, heck, we're not getting enough calories here for work and heat, then it's going to store. It doesn't matter how clean you eat, even if it's a carrot stick, it's going to store that and convert that to fat because it will need it for later. Your body's sending a red flag to your metabolism to slow the energy conversion back, the energy exchange down, conserve that energy, and we're going to hold on to and convert what we eat into fat, into storage. Backloading calories. This is very typical if you're a snacker or a grazer all day. Maybe you have a smoothie in the morning. Maybe your typical lunch is the salad with a piece of chicken. Then you come home from work and you're starving, so you eat tons of crackers and cheese, charcuterie board, olives, whatever it may be. You're snacking while you make dinner. You have dinner. After dinner, you're watching Netflix with your friend or your husband, and you're snacking some more. And you see how all those calories or what we're consuming is later in the day. It's not even through the whole day. And that is not allowing our body to rest, right? It's not giving us the stable blood sugar through the day, which I'm going to talk about in a second too. And the third thing is the missing macronutrients. So our macronutrients are our proteins, fats, and carbs, especially protein and healthy fat, which are so integral in revving our metabolism and burning fat and stabilizing our blood sugar and hormones. Fat stabilizes our blood sugar and our hormones. Healthy fats, your nuts, your seeds, your almond butters, your avocado. And a lot of times when we're eating super clean, we are very actually low on the protein and the healthy fats in our meals. And that is so, so integral because if we don't have that, what's our body going to do? It's going to hold on to that fat, right? And guys, it does not matter what you do. If your blood sugar and your hormones, especially your fat storage hormones, are off, you are not going to lose an inch. It's just not going to happen because your body keeps that fat for protection. There's always scientifically a reason, mentally or physically, why your body holds onto fat. Okay, mentally or physically. And like I said, it's a red flag to your metabolism to slow down and conserve energy. Okay, so what is blood sugar and why should we care? Because you may have thought blood sugar, well, I'm not diabetic and why should I be care about my blood sugar? And I'm not going to make this biology class, but every woman in their 40s who wants to shed some fluff, rev their metabolism long term, has to be conscious of her blood sugar and fat storage hormones. It is a must, like I just said. So your blood sugar is also known as blood glucose, and that glucose is the simplest form of sugar, and it comes from the food that we eat. Simple enough, right? Your body creates blood sugar by digesting some foods into that sugar, and then it circulates in our bloodstream. We use that sugar for energy. Our brains and our cells actually prefer it and love it. And the sugar that isn't needed for that fuel in our body right away gets stored by our liver and our cells for fat for later use. Makes sense, right? Let me know if you're sticking with me. Yes, makes sense. Amazing. And I think this chart will help explain it more. So when we when we consume something, your body breaks down everything into parts, like those carbohydrates, those proteins and fats that I mentioned. There's also micronutrients, but we're going to stick with the macro, which is our protein, fats, and carbs. The speed at which these essential parts enter our bloodstream is so important and really directly depends on the type of food we're eating. So for example, if you're eating high sugar containing foods and processed carbs like breads, pastas, desserts, and crackers and chips, they enter our bloodstream very quickly and they cause that glucose, that blood sugar, to rise sharply to very high levels, like that red line that you see here in the chart. If you're watching your carbohydrate intake, you don't have to avoid these foods. It's not about being anti-carb, but instead you need to be careful about your portion size because the food consumption is also very relative to the amount of food or sugar you absorb, right? That goes by side by side. But guys, we can't just blame sugar because I know we all know that we have to be careful of our sugar 100%. Fat doesn't make you fat, sugar does. But it is the best and preferred source of energy for our cells. The harm is in the excess, the wrong delivery system, and obviously the nutritional component. It's highly metabolic, and in the excess, it's going to be stored. And if it has no nutritional value to it, it's going to be stored, like in those processed carbs that I talked about, because carbs are still a form of sugar. They still have a glucose in them, okay? We want to make sure that our body can utilize it and that we're not getting that red line, which causes an insulin, which is a hormone that comes in to try to stabilize our blood sugar so we have that nice green line. And when that comes in, it spikes our cortisol, which is a stress hormone, also a fat storage hormone, and it just causes our body to hold on to fat. Stress is a big, big contributor to why our body holds on to fat, obviously, right? Because it's a protection thing. So, and when we're young and really metabolically very healthy, our tissues will respond very quickly by pumping out that insulin to regulate everything. But over time, and as we age, your body kind of is like, listen, I've been pumping out this insulin a lot lately, and it backs off a little bit, and you develop an insulin resistance. And then there's nothing to help regulate and get you that beautiful green line. And that's when we get the peaks and the valleys, and we get the hangry. If anyone knows what hangry is, that's when that happens. Okay. And guys, this is a few testimonials of what that shift in your metabolism and how you just feel in general, because you're not going to sit there and go like, oh, my metabolism just shifted, but you're going to feel when your blood sugar is regulated and your fat storage hormones are regulated. Even in a few days, you'll start feeling a difference, really. And here's just some client text to me saying exactly that, just how they're feeling different, because that's so important, right? It's the goal. It's one of the goals anyways. All right, secret number 2, take a sip of water and let's dive into this one, because this is the second phase. First one, we talked about nutrition. Second, we're going to tie in fitness. Excuse me, sip of water, because there's many things that we do on the workout exercise front that actually can be very detrimental and make us hold on to fat. So let's dive in. Why massive amounts of cardio and long daily workouts can be actually slowing down your metabolism and contributing to weight gain. So let me know in the chat, let me know who's working out. How many times a week are you working out? What do you do typically to work out? What do you love doing? Lifting weights. Yes, I see lifting weights from Heather. Pilates. Sue, love it. Amazing. Spinning. Jen says, I love to run. Yes, there's my runners. There's always runners. CrossFit 2-3 times a week. Yep. Always get the CrossFitters on my web class. I'm going to be talking to you guys in just a second. My runners too. So you guys work out pretty consistently. That's great. And if you don't work out, do not beat yourself up, please, because the first phase in the 3 phases that I talk about, the first is always nutrition. We need to get our nutrition under wraps. Amy says swimming 3 times a week. Oh my gosh, what a great workout. What a great workout, okay? So some of the examples you guys gave me though are really kind of related to my number 1 exercise mistake if you want to lose the extra fluff and boost your slow metabolism. And that is hour-long cardio sessions and hitting the pavement day after day. It's really that cardio mentality and that go big or go home, burn those calories to see results that really is a detriment in our 40s. Okay, we still want to be active, we still want to move, but we need to work out smarter, not harder. So let me touch on my runners for just a sec, because I think it was Amanda that said she was a runner. I know you're like, oh my gosh, is she telling me I could never run ever again if I want to lose the fat? No, listen, I have many clients that are runners and they love to run and they put in a lot of kilometers in a week. Either they do it for their own sanity, or maybe they're training for a life goal like a half marathon or triathlon or whatever it may be. But the key is that we balance it with rest and restorative periods and strength and conditioning periods. They're not pounding it out day after day after day for 6 days straight. Because when the ultimate goal is fat loss and revving your metabolism, that cardio mentality, and trust me, I have been there, it does not work in our 40s, okay? We have to balance it with restorative, and we need the strength exercises to be really high effective and make us that fat burning machine that we really want. And here's why. So if we jump on a cardio machine, we're working our heart muscle. Yes, Heather, I see your comment too. She's like, my doctor says I should be doing cardio 3 to 4 times a week. I'm going to touch on that right here. So when we jump on that cardio machine, we're working our heart muscle, which is great. But you can get the same benefits for your cardiovascular system and heart without pounding it out for an hour. What happens when we're doing long cardio is that our cortisol, which is that stress hormone that I spoke about briefly earlier, it increases. It increases naturally. The longer we pound it out on the treadmill or elliptical, our cortisol raises, which triggers a flight response and stress. And what happens when we're stressed? We hold on to fat. It's protection. As you can see in the chart, in the beginning of working out, it naturally increases because we're moving, we're increasing our heart rate, right? Then it stabilizes, but then it peaks again around that 30 to 40 minute mark. We want to harness cortisol in a great way and not have it contributing to a stress response and holding on to fat. You have to remember, our bodies do not know the difference between running or doing an exercise on a treadmill or running from a tiger. It's a flight response. And if our cortisol gets too high and we are stressing out our adrenals and our hormones get all out of whack, it also does this. I'm going to take a quick sip of water and I'm going to share what that is. Sorry, quick sip of water, and I'm going to share, because I bet you guys didn't know this. When we pound out on the cardio, it increases our sugar and carb cravings. Sorry about the text coming through. I don't know if you guys knew that, but this is what happens. When our cortisol increases, it actually makes us insulin resistant. Remember that insulin that comes in, that insulin word again, to manage our blood sugar? So when we have nothing to help regulate our blood sugar, it spikes and drops that red line at will. And then we bottom out, and then guess what? We start craving more sugar because it's energy. And now we're on that blood sugar roller coaster that we do not want to be on. So what if I told you that your metabolism can be high efficiently revving even at rest, even in our sleep? When we develop that lean muscle mass through incorporating resistance training into our exercise routines, we're basically making our bodies fat burning machines for hours, even days after the workout. This is because when we work out and put our muscles under resistance, we're actually tearing apart small muscle fibers and then asking them to regrow and build into stronger, leaner muscle, which takes up less space. This repair and build takes energy and support, which our metabolism provides. So we have to be careful with the duration of our workouts, but it does not mean we want to lose intensity. We want to have that intensity. We want to go hard. We want to sweat. We want to move, but just the duration. And that what we're doing really relates to our goals, and that we're incorporating rest, restorative, and strength training exercises. Our bodies need those rest periods because it needs time to repair. We might not have needed as much in our 20s and 30s, but now we do. So you might say, Moni, that's great, but what do I do to tone and tighten my midsection and my core? And I'm going to give you a quick pro tip here that I do with all my clients, because I love to work out your core from top to bottom. Because when we do any kind of ab work, it's very easy to engage other major muscle groups like our quads and our glutes, and especially our lower abs, which may have very weak, very little mind-body connection. So when we start from the top and work down and exhaust the other muscles first, we can really engage that lower belly area. So an exercise sequence can look something like this. And then if you're in the private Meta Boosting group on Facebook, under the units tab, it has descriptions of what the form is for all of these. If you have any confusion, just PM and I'll guide you through. But you can do Roman twists, like sitting Roman twists. Standing basketball toss, which is exactly what it is. It's a great functional fitness move. Stand and reach crunch, plank, good old plank, front, side, and spider plank. Mountain climbers, you can do standing or in a plank position, mountain climbers, and the legs to sky to really target that lower ab. You're lying on your back and you're pulsating your hips off the ground, pushing your heels to the ceiling for a few inches, okay? Ditch the sit-ups. Notice how I didn't say sit-ups. Start doing multi-joint compound movements that are going to target all the key areas of our core, which includes our back too, right? A lot of us have lower back problems. So my client Nicole is a great example of that mental shift about working out smarter, not harder in her 40s. And Nicole always had this amazing smile on her face. She's a mom of 4 kids under the age of 10, I believe. She's a former NCAA athlete and a champion in rowing. So she knew what it meant to go hard mentally and physically. And she did that. She was working out almost 6 days straight. And she came to me saying, you know what, Moni, I love my workouts. I actually do feel stronger, but I am not losing that fluff around my midsection, and I'm not fitting in my clothes and feeling confident and getting rid of the jiggle that I want to get rid of. And when I sat with her and said, we obviously did the nutrition first, but then sat with her and said, we are scaling your workouts back. She looked at me like I had 3 heads, but right away, I mean, within weeks, she felt better. Her energy was better. And with that consistently working out smarter, she lost 11 pounds in just over 3 weeks. And I'm not a big weight girl. She lost the inches as well. But the reality was her body wasn't under that constant stress, and it just was allowed to release the fluff it didn't need. So, but what holds it all together, right? You're like, oh, this is great, but how does it all come together? What's the glue so that I can actually live my life, enjoy it? Because like I said, what's life without pizza and wine? Sorry, it's true. And, if it was as easy as food and exercise, we all would be walking around in our dream physiques. I could tell you exactly what to eat for you. I could train you every single day, but there's going to be a time that it stops, because there's always a time that you are going to head into some resistance with yourself or others, and you must have this to get you through. That's what makes it lasting and you getting to your goals, okay? So it's a good segue to get into our third secret, how to get rid of the belly bulge and enjoy your social life so you never feel deprived. First and foremost, let's dissolve the myth of willpower. Many of us have done this. You're white knuckling it through the week, thinking you just have to keep strong to see results. You're telling yourself you're not going to do something, willing yourself, and then ultimately failing is not your fault. It's not. And this is was a huge one for me and is for many of my clients, because you're not feeling guilt, but you think you just can't be strong enough, then you give up. And here's the thing, willpower is a big BS, capital B, capital S, and it does not work long-term, and that's actually science proven. And here's why. We can blame something called decision fatigue. Our willpower is not at the same constant level all day, waiting around for us to use it. It actually gets weaker with every decision we make. That's why, maybe you can relate to this example, after saying to yourself all day, I'm not having chocolate, I'm not having a cookie, I'm not doing it, I'm not doing it, I'm not doing it, and you're good all day, and then after dinner you cave and you have that chocolate or you have that cookie or whatever your go-to may be. Then you question, oh my gosh, I went all day without having a sweet or piece of chocolate or whatever it is, and I was doing so great. Like, why did I cave at dinner? There's research backing this. Roy Bromster is a prominent psychologist. He's researched the phenomenon of decision fatigue, which is the idea that our willpower decreases with every decision that we make. Decision fatigue is what leads to sort of like analysis paralysis. It's when your brain is on low mental energy. It's really hard to make good decisions on the things that matter, like our health goals. And this research has actually inspired some of those visionary people of our time. This is why Steve Jobs, this is my ode to Steve Jobs slide. He's the founder of obviously Apple, but he wore the same outfit every day, that black turtleneck with blue jeans and white sneakers. It wasn't that he didn't have good fashion sense or that he was lazy. It was a conscious thing that he did because he knew by conserving mental energy and taking away the smaller decisions, even the minute ones of what to wear, it enabled him to focus energy on the bigger decisions, the ones that mattered. So eating clean all day and showing up at the party and telling yourself no won't work. Or saying, I'll just have a cheat day and work out extra hard tomorrow doesn't work. And like I said, the latter is actually doing more harm than good because it's causing your body added stress. And what happens when our body is stressed? It holds on to fat. Oh, I see you guys saying that. Perfect. All I see in my chat is like holds on to fat, holds on to fat, holds on to fat. So research from the Harvard Business School shows that when we make decisions for our future selves, we actually make better decisions. So the night before, plan out as many decisions as you can. Please don't make this an extra to-do list or another thing that you have to do on your plate. Just a quick mental note, right? This will reduce your decision fatigue the next day and take advantage of your thoughtful planning for your future self. So maybe just planning your outfit like Steve, a healthy breakfast, what time you're going to hit the grocery store, what are you going to buy at the grocery store, what are you going to do if a sugar craving hits at 3 p.m., right? What do we do? So we just have to think about it ahead of time a little bit. So what do we do about the social events and just even about the foods that we love to have in our life? First off, we cannot treat it like a diet. We need to get out of that mindset that it's a diet and it's super restrictive. If you know you're going to an event or you have a get-together coming up, we have to take action, strategic action, meaning we have to think about this ahead of time. Again, this doesn't mean work, just means a mental note. It does not mean planning not to eat all day and saving room or working out like crazy. Like I said, let's keep it simple. And this is a little tip that I have my clients do. So at the event, if it's a buffet or sit down, it does not matter. But the first thing you're going to do is go for a plate of salad or raw veg. They're harder to digest and they have amazing fiber that's actually going to fill you up. So instead of going for 10 pigs in the blanket, maybe you'll just opt for 2. That's a win, okay? With every alcoholic drink that you have, if you partake in alcohol, have a big glass of water in between. I'm a wine drinker. I put that water in the exact same wine glass and I sip on it. Half the time I don't even notice, right? But it just breaks it up. The next one, and this is big, this is really huge, enjoy. Savor the time with family and friends and know this. It takes time for your body to hold on to fat. You're not going to kill your metabolism, and that French fry is not going to put an extra 5 pounds on your hips, even though it might feel like it because we're mentally telling ourselves that. You might feel a little bit bloated, but you're not storing fat. It's when we do it night after night and what we do afterwards, try to burn off those calories, try to eat super, super clean, that actually causes way more inflammation and causes that fat storage to happen. Okay, so yes, you can have pizza and wine and still get rid of the fluff. You can enjoy life and still obtain your goals. We just have to think about it ahead of time. And this is another one, the big secret, right? To enjoying pizza and wine on Fridays and vacations and holidays and celebrations, it's having a wingman, a plan of support that's going to guide you through and that you have to fall back on. For example, in the 3M system, which is a plan obviously for busy women that honestly can't fit something else on their plate but have goals, that's their wingman. We work at the beginning First stage, to get rid of that inflammation, balancing the blood sugar so your fat storage hormones work for you, not against you. We work out smarter, not harder. And then we work on the mental shifts that we need to do, not relying on willpower, calming stress in our lives, and just an everyday simple plan that we can follow. It's the right system, the right support, and the right accountability. Because many of us are sitting back waiting for that perfect time to take action. And we may want to do it on our own or try to do it on our own again. But if we want results, consistent results, it's about having accountability and support in our lives, right? If you want to move from point A to point B, you need a plan, a map, or some kind of structure, okay? Very important. And this is what I love the slide. Don't force your life into a system. The system must ebb and flow with your life to be successful and long-term. This is a big one. So if you're ever looking for something, either online, with me, whatever it may be, if it doesn't ebb and flow with your life, and life is sickness, it's tragedy, it's vacations, it's celebrations, it's everything, it's not going to work long-term. And that's when we just lose faith and we jump off, and it's so hard to get motivated to come back to it, right? And this is a great example of this is my client, Karen, because she didn't want another diet to follow. She was having terrible cravings and was really bloated because of those said cravings. She was very tired all the time, holding on to fluff in certain areas. And it was when we started, she was like, I have a dinner with law school friends on the Friday. I have kids' birthday parties on the weekend, one of which is my own. Maybe we should just start Monday. But no, we made a plan for her, something to follow so she could not have to rely on the willpower or the start again, and that she can just get right back to it after those amazing evenings out and just enjoy herself. Just enjoy herself, right? Angela is another one. She's an ER nurse at a busy hospital. If I tried to put her in a cookie cutter box program or system, it would not fly with her because her schedule was all over the place. And she was a mom and had a family at home too. So we had to figure out, nutrition that would work for her. We had to figure out workouts that would work for her. And obviously to get her goals. She dropped 11 pounds in the first 2 phases and then ultimately 15. She went gluten-free and low sugar because that was a bit of a crutch for her. Doesn't mean anyone. And obviously she loved her wine too. Okay, so let's review really quick. Hopefully you got your notebook with you. Let's review really quickly what you've learned with our time so far together. Secret number 1, we talked about eating clean often leads to not eating enough or backloading your calories or missing those key macronutrients. And why it doesn't matter how clean you eat. If your blood sugar and fat storage hormones are off, you're not going to lose an inch. Because when we were young and metabolically very healthy, our tissues would respond very quickly with that insulin, that hormone that would come in and stabilize our blood sugar. But as we age, that insulin isn't so quick to come in and help out. Sorry, I switched the slide there for you guys. Okay, and secret number 2, we understand now that the longer we pound it out on the treadmill, elliptical, or whatever typical cardio device or cardio program, we're actually triggering our cortisol to raise, which triggers a flight response and stress. And when we're stressed, guys, put it in the chat, we hold on to fat as protection. We want to harness that cortisol in a great way and not contribute to a stress response. And the importance of adding restorative days and resistance training to harness that lean muscle mass. We can still be runners. We can still do the things that we love. We can swim. We can do everything. We just need to make sure that we incorporate those rest and restorative and the strength days if we want to lose fat. And then saying bye-bye to back-breaking sit-ups, incorporating compound movements to tone and strengthen our core. This, with the balance of your blood sugar and hormones mentioned above, will help get rid of that fat over top and get you that slimmer, svelte midsection, okay? The million sit-ups a day is not going to do it. We need to get rid of the fat too. And in secret number 3, the third thing in our 3 phases is how to get rid of that belly bulge and still enjoy our social life. Is powerful because I walked you through why it's not our fault and why we can't rely on willpower. And here today, you can stop beating yourself up because success and failures you may have experienced in the past. It stops because now you know where to put your energy and where your true power lies. And that's with taking strategic action before and after events, vacations, holidays, It's about enjoying your favorite foods and not feeling deprived and guilty because you have that wingman, that plan to follow before and after, right? I gave you the exact method of what I use with all my busy clients to get them firing their slow metabolism, slimming down their waistline without being tied to the kitchen and deprivation, which is big. And like I said, it's that wingman, it's that plan. Okay, so let me ask you, why did you show up here today? Okay, I know I said some of the points earlier, but what were you really looking to accomplish? You know, these are some of the common things. You know, stop feeling sluggish and tired, trim waistline, feeling amazing in my clothes. These are some of the biggest ones that I hear every time I do this web class. And at the beginning of this training, I made you the promise, right? I said, I'm going to show you the simplest way to fire up your slow metabolism and lose that belly, bulge, poof, muffin tire, whatever. But here's the thing I want you to remember. Everything I shared with you today isn't some random theory or some idea I might think will work for you. Everything I walked you through works. It's worked for me. It's worked for hundreds of my clients who all started from a similar spot where you are right now. The will of wanting change, the will of wanting transformation, but they have busy lives, families, carpool, and they just don't know how to fit it in and what to do. And like I said, it's very much a mindset and mental thing as well. Having someone there to guide you through is so, so important. So really you have two choices, right? Because I want you guys to leave here with action. I want you to make changes for yourself, positive changes for yourself tomorrow. And you can continue doing what you're doing. Maybe it's trying the latest and greatest and pounding it out, hoping it works, even though it hasn't before. Or you can choose something that is proven, like through the three phases we've done here, that has accountability, and you can just set your goal and run for it. The choice is yours. Now, throughout the webinar, you heard me mention the 3M system. And this is how I obviously help women in their 40s and 50s get rid of the fluff. And you learn the foundation of the 3 phases of the 3M system through the secrets here today. So I hope you took lots of amazing notes. Would it be okay? Because I feel obviously you're not going to create huge transformation in an hour, but I really want you to take action. So if it's okay with you guys, I'm going to take a few minutes just to explain what I think would be amazing action for you guys to take forward. Then I will give you the eating out guide, and then we'll do some Q&A. Let me know if that's okay with you guys. I know we're at the hour mark. We'll be quick and simple and easy, but this is it because yes, I see all the yeses coming. Amazing. So like I said, here's the thing. An hour with me is not enough time to make this huge transformation. And I want to obviously take a more active role and make sure that you succeed, right? An hour is a great start. Like I said, you invest in yourself and you're here. So what I've done is I've set aside time over the next 2 to 5 days to speak with you personally, how I can support you to apply what we've talked about so you can, in your life, because your life is different from your neighbors, like I said, remember, or the person across the street, but how you can get rid of the over 40 fluff within a relatively amount of time. Like the 3M system's 12 weeks, for example. And I do that with, I call it the belly busting breakthrough call. Breakthrough call for short. But the best part of this, it's about 45 minutes to an hour, is that you gain confidence and you gain clarity. This is not a coaching call. I will say that again. I'm not going to give you a laundry list of items and pray that you do them. I have found in the past it's not helpful. It's not successful. What is clarity. Clarity about what's holding you back, what's going on, what are the roadblocks, and what we can do to propel you forward. And while I'm certainly not the only one in the health and wellness industry doing this, there's a lot of other people doing it, which is great. But I am best working with women in their 40 who want to lose that fluff and focus their energy on being strategic in the sense of not spending hours at the gym or in the kitchen or making different meals for themselves than the rest of the family, because that is not going to happen. And in the link that I'm going to give you for the eating out guide, you can schedule your call in there. It's super easy to do. It just looks like this. Comes up, you pick your day, you pick your time. If you do not see a time that works for you, this is an Eastern Standard Time. I speak with everybody all over North America. If you do not see a time that works with you, just let me know and we'll see that we can figure something out. Like I said, because I want you to take action. I want you to take action now. And again, you just click and book, okay? And some people ask, yes, you know, now that you've seen how to do it, it's super easy. And like I said, it's not a coaching call. Type yes in the comments. I see everyone saying, yes, okay, I'm going, okay, amazing. And some people say, yes, it is free. The important thing to know is free. People ask, why do you do this? Because this is my life's work. It's to support women to get their mojo back. It's support them to see how they can learn to say bye to the diets and adopt things into their life, and why what they've been doing hasn't worked. Okay. And I know that you can overcome the barriers that have been stopping you. I know you can. And many of you listening may want some more personalized support and accountability. And if you are someone who knows that in order for you to succeed, that you need that, then great. We can discuss it and we can determine if you may be a right fit for the 3M system. You may not be, and that's totally cool. You'll at least leave with clarity, like I said, confidence, and something to propel you forward. Okay? There is one catch that I will say. If you are looking, and I preface this because it's not a quick fix. If you're looking for the quick fix, if you're looking for something just to get you to vacation, if you're not open-minded, if you're not patient with things, this is not the call for you. Please leave it for the people that really, really are 10 out of 10. They want this transformation, because those are the people I know are going to take sustainable action, right? And I know the system works. I've given you examples throughout this web class. My clients were committed to their goals. I want success for you bad, but I can't be the only one putting in the effort. I 100% that you can do it. You just need the clarity of how to do it for you in your 40s, because as you've probably seen a little bit, it's a bit of a different game in our 40s. Okay. So make sure you just, like it is for you. Like I said, I see you guys saying, great. Oh my gosh, that's great. 100%. Yes, we can. Amanda's asking if we can talk about the 3M. I'm not going to do it on this web class. We can talk about it one-on-one. Like I said, I don't broadcast it to everybody. I'm very selective who I take. I only take about 5 to 10 women a month because I do want that personalized support for you. If it's a fit, if we talk about it and it's a fit, we can dive into our call. Okay, we're not going to dive in it too much. You've got basic principles here through it. Okay, so I am going to go to the chat here, and where's my chat? Oh, I gotta minimize my screen. Sorry guys, give me a second. You're gonna get the ugly screen here for a sec, and then I'm gonna put the link in, and then if it's gonna let me, and then I will answer some questions. I'm not sure why it's not letting me put the link in here for you guys. Oh, it's changing there we go. There it is. Okay, so here's the link. So that in there, you'll get your bonus. The bonus is it's downloadable, super easy. If you have problems with it, just let me know and I'll email it to you, no problem. Okay, and you can book the call in there too, the Calendly call. Here's a couple, if you guys have to jet, no problem, but a couple of questions I saw pop in that I'm going to address right here. I do not see a time it works. Okay, so that's I'm going to go do these 3 because I get these all the time. Just let me know. Okay, the biggest thing is I want you to take action. I don't want to wait for weeks. I want you to take action now for you. So if there's not a time that works, just email me, PM me on Facebook, whatever you got to do, and we'll figure something out that's for you. Number 2, is there a catch? People ask this all the time. There's no catch, okay? The 3M system is a great system for women in their 40s that want to lose the fat. They want to have something they can rely on. They need accountability and support, but it is not for everybody. It is not for everybody, and I get that. And that's why you don't see me blasting it out to, cold traffic everywhere. It's very selective, and like I said, if we talk through your situation and your goals and your vision for yourself and there's a fit, then we can dive into it. If not, I want you to get clarity. I want you just to take action, proper action. These ones are the best, and I get these, all the time. I'm keto. I'm perimenopausal, and I'm 50. Is that okay? 100%. I have clients that are keto. I have clients that intermittent fast. I have clients that are menopausal, full-blown in menopause. This all helps. If you style your eating in a sense that you're keto or intermittent fasting, those things are great if they work for you. If you're losing inches, if your blood sugar is balanced, they can work. It depends on the person. It really depends. Keto's great, but it's just hard to do for a lot of people. For some people, it's not. I have a client, she's keto and intermittent faster, and it works amazing for her, and we got the results, right? Same with perimenopausal. So nutrition actually is a huge component when we enter that life stage of menopause and perimenopause, and getting the obviously the acute reactions to that, the night sweats, the mood swings, everything. Nutrition and exercise are a huge part of that, and not causing extra stress and inflammation in our bodies. So it definitely helps. And if I'm 50, I'm okay 100%. It's another life stage. We can take the principles in our 40s. We go through a major hormonal shift in our early 40s, kind of a little bit in our 50s. Obviously, a lot of women go through menopause in their 50s. So the principles are the same, but we have to work with those 3 key areas of nutrition, balanced blood sugar, exercise, working out smarter, not harder, and the mindset shifts to make it last long term. Those are the biggest ones. Okay. I have in here, how many times a week do you recommend we work out? So if I get asked this one a lot. So my answer, Stu, is going to be pretty lame, because it really depends. It depends on your health history, it depends on your prior activity level, it depends on your time, so many things. The biggest thing is obviously to create movement in our bodies daily, always to be, taking the stairs, being active, those kind of things I think are ingrained in our heads. And then from there, starting small, building up. I do 5-6 days a week CrossFit. You're a CrossFitter. Are you getting your goals with CrossFit? If you're not, then I would scale it back and making sure that you have some rest days. Maybe do some yoga, do something that you love to do in there. People ask me, and like 3 to 4 days is a lot common. I work out 3 to 4 days a week. I do 2 resistance training days that last about 35 minutes. I do a HIIT, high intensity interval day, and then I do sports or like a yoga. Okay, but always rest and restorative in there. And it was a big mental shift for me, because I was a big workout queen, huge. I'm a former professional athlete, so I felt control over my body when I was working out. Okay. Thoughts on intermittent fasting? Same as that I just said. The principle is amazing and it works. It depends on your lifestyle and you, and your blood sugar must be balanced for intermittent fasting to work, right? Our bodies kind of go through a nostril fast as it is. If you end your meals at dusk, obviously in the summertime, that's a little bit harder because it's later, but if you end your meals around dusk time, because that's when our body's in rejuvenation mode, and rest mode, then, eat your first meal, obviously around breakfast time. You're kind of going through a natural fast for about 12 hours there already, right? And that's a big one. Well, you'll see people say, don't eat past 8 p.m. and all these things, but it's just something to remember. Doesn't mean you can't have popcorn and watch Netflix with hubby ever again, that's for sure, but it's just something to remember. Okay, guys, I'm trying to look through here if I see anything else. If I miss it, I will PM you and answer you right away. Again, thank you so much for coming. If you booked your call, amazing. Yes, I booked. Awesome. If you booked your call, great. I'm excited to chat with you. Hopefully you got some great value from this. Make sure you check your chat for that web class bonus. You can download it straight from there, book your call straight from there as well. And I can't wait to chat with you. Okay, with that said, have an amazing night. Let's do it. Let's rock out this quarter. Okay, summer's around the corner. It's time to take the right action, especially if you have not started to see results in 2019. Okay, can't wait to chat with you guys and have a great night. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you. I see lots of thumbs up. Thank you guys. It's been awesome.